Hello, everybody. So I'm going to start with an apology because I have promised you 2 videos a week and I was not able to keep that promise last week. I've been dealing with some mobility issues and getting better, so I'm happy to say that. And I'll see if I can make up for that and put out 3 this week, but if not, we'll definitely have 2. So you saw from my last video that I was very excited about the subfloor being put in, and the fact that the subfloor is made of stone was of great interest to me because, as you know, the way we build in the United States is that the subfloor is always wood. In fact, we use a lot of wood in the building of our homes. Let me wait for the plane to pass. If you think about the framing that goes up and how electrical outlets and things are attached to the frame, totally different here with the plastic bricks that we're using to build my house. They actually cut into the brick in order to put outlets and wires and things in, because I don't like a lot of wires to be shown outside of the, just hanging around. I just think it's very tacky. Wires from the TV, and I don't like that. So they're aware that, we need to hide as much as we can because that's what I'm accustomed to in the United States. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about, or the thing I wanted to talk about today, was the pros and cons of using different kinds of construction materials. And we'll look at wood or timber or lumber, whatever your preferred name for it is, versus using the use of stone. And of course, the things that I'm interested in primarily are its environmental impact. That's the most important thing to me. And other pros and cons about the materials. So let's get into it, and we're going to start by looking at the pros of using wood. And one of the biggest advantages to using wood is just the huge variety of species of wood from which you can choose. So if you like dark wood, brown wood, light wood, strong wood, harder wood, softer wood, you just got it all. So that choice really is a big plus, and you can choose woods based on your perceived love of their beauty as well as the strength of the different woods. Also, the acoustics. Think about wood instruments. One of the reasons that wood is used for many musical instruments is because it does absorb sound, which prevents echoes and vibrational noise. So wood is very good for that. The other thing is just the warmth of wood. Whether it's a table, a chair, wood paneling, there's just something that's kind of warm and welcoming about wood that kind of makes you want to touch it. It's smooth, it feels good, it's organic. So that's another pro. And it is easy to maintain and repair. If something happens, you just pull out that piece and put in another piece to fix it, or, whatever the issue is. But there are some cons to using wood as well. And one is the shrinkage and swelling that can happen with wood. For example, if wood absorbs water, like if it's left outside, that can make the structure of the wood weaker because of the absorption of the water. So sometimes people have to let that dry out before they can actually use the wood. Another big thing would be pests and fungi. So of course, pests, the main one that we know of is termites, but there are, of course, we had something in Georgia, they call them carpentibrees. And they were just amazing because they would eat these perfect little circles into your house. And I used to live in a 3-story house. And so this carpenter bee was way up high, near that third story. So we had to get someone to, sorry to say, we had to spray some poison in it to get it out, and then we sealed that hole up so that it didn't go back in there again. So pests are a problem. Fungi, I think about things like mold, and of course that can be unhealthy for humans and animals that are in the house if you have a mold problem. But one of the worst cons about wood is the fact that it's susceptible to fire. So we know that it easily catches fire unless it's been treated with chemicals. So those are, just some of the pros and cons of using wood in your construction. But the main thing is deforestation, and we'll get to that after I talk about the pros and cons of using stone. So one of the big things about stone is its strength, okay? It has a very high maximum load strength. It's also resistant to weather, resists hail, snow, rain, and it does not absorb water, unlike wood. It's very durable. It withstands wear, pressure, and damage. It resists bending, splintering, denting, swelling. Once you got it, you ain't moving it. Okay. And there's a great variety of design possibilities with using stone. And it does mesh well with other materials. And there's very little maintenance required. And of course, you don't have to worry about fire with stone. So let's go into deforestation for a minute. I don't have facts and statistics about where deforestation is the worst. I did look at a map, and it was quite disturbing to see. There are only a couple of small little patches of forest in the world. One is around the Democratic Republic of Congo, in that area. It runs from west to central and a little bit to East Africa. And another one, of course, is the Amazon rainforest. And it seems like the rest of the world is kind of bare. I thought they had a lot of forests in Russia, but I did not see that on this particular map that I looked at. So 70% of land animals and plant species live in the forest. The canopy regulates the temperature and provides shelter. Without it, temperature variations could prove fatal to some of these species, human and animal. The lack of trees also leads to increased greenhouse gases because the trees capture the CO2, the carbon dioxide. And trees also regulate water in our atmosphere. In the Amazon, deforestation is occurring at an alarming rate. And that deforestation is impacting the weather around the world. Think Hurricane Helene, Hurricane, Milton that we're dealing with today. So continuing on, we had to do a little edit there. One of the problems with deforestation, of course, is soil erosion and flooding, of course. And with that comes the inability to grow crops, which are so important. We keep hearing about all these problems about hunger and people needing to get GMOs, and I'm just not convinced that this information that we're being fed is really on the up and up. It feels to me like governments, countries are being lied to about the need to modernize and use these scientific achievements and blah, 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 blah. Whereas I think there's just some common sense solutions to some of the problems that exist. Of course, if you're cutting down all your trees, that's going to cause some problems with soil erosion, with loss of habitat for animals and for humans. So, some of these issues are just kind of common sense, And if we were to step back and just look at human values versus the values that the capitalists and the imperialists, yeah, I'm gonna call them out, try to feed to us, maybe we would think about these challenges differently and come up with different ways to address them that didn't cost a lot of money and that really work in the best interest of the people and the animals that inhabit an area. Related to that, indigenous people are really threatened by deforestation because the forest, like it does for animals, provides food, shelter, and medication. And this deforestation occurs without the impact, notification usually, or the input of the people who live in that area, that they come and cut down the trees. You can go to a website called pacama.org and get some more information about this. So that was really all that I needed to say about deforestation, about wood versus stone. Stone has the lowest ecological impact or environmental impact in terms of using that as a material versus wood. So, you know, guys, I'm just going to be giving you this information in little bits and pieces. One, because I'm not an expert, but I'm a concerned citizen. And it's important to me that we begin to think about some of these issues and come up with different ways of addressing them. I know a lot of you are not happy with the condition of our planet. I know a lot of you know that climate change is real, but we got to talk about what we can do individually and as a collective group to address it. Ergo, my previous video about how the clothing industry is wreaking havoc on the environment. And now we're talking about cutting down trees. Before I close, I do want to talk about an option. And if you like wood and the organic feel and da-da-da-da-da. And it's not a tree, it's a grass, and that's bamboo. I am really convinced at this point in my life that bamboo is the solution to our problems with deforestation. It grows extremely quickly. I mean, like it can grow like 3 feet or a meter in a day, some of the species of it. It can be made into furniture, housing, ceilings like in my house, and toilet paper. It can be made into eating utensils, disposable eating utensils. So many uses for bamboo. I think it can be made into, I have bamboo sheets. So it can be, so many uses for this. And yet we're not hearing a lot of interest in approaching this very sustainable material. You'll never run out of it. It can keep the hills from eroding. I mean, just, you know, a lot of good benefits. We're not hearing enough about making use of something as sustainable as bamboo. And I'm going to ask you to look when you're next in the market to get furniture, consider bamboo. When you're next contemplating buying toilet tissue, look at some of the bamboo toilet paper that's available. Reel, I know, is one, R-E-E-L. I think Who Gives a Crap is another one. But consider buying those. You know, we can take little steps to make a difference. And I'm not an expert on any of this. I didn't take ecological science. I'm a psychologist, but I have a concern about the environment, and I know many of you do too. So I'm just gonna ask you to take a moment and think about some of the things I try to present here and see what you can do to make a difference for the world. Thank you, and hopefully everyone will be safe from Hurricane Milton, who's wreaking havoc in the Gulf of Mexico and headed towards the Tampa area right now, and these hurricanes have a special meaning for me because I moved to Florida 3 weeks before Hurricane Andrew hit. So every hurricane season, I get a little PTSD. So, you know, these hurricanes are not a joke. And I encourage people to evacuate if you're being asked to, because folks really have your best interest at heart. And I hope you're smart enough to listen. You guys like, share, subscribe, comment. Let's get this channel up. We need 20 more subscriptions to make 300. Take good care. Until next time. Bye-bye.